indoors, because this is...
Right guys, welcome back to the video.
I tell you what, I'm going out soon, and if I find that there's anyone outside, you know what I'm going to do?
What?
I'm going to politely ask you to go indoors and stay safe.
Oh my god. Right guys, welcome back to the new video. Now today, whilst you're all in self-isolation, we've got some more content for your screens, and today we're both going to pick 10 clubs that we believe in Great Britain have a bright future. We haven't agreed on anything, we've gone and made our own list, so it's going to be interesting to see how many we agree on. Shall we get right into it?
Let's do that, and in 10th place, I'm going all the way up to Manchester, and everyone knows when I say Paul Scholes, Ryan Giggs, David Beckham. Who am I thinking of there?
I'm not actually going to fall for this one. You're going for Salford City. I know about the class of 92.
The class of 92, with help from Peter Lim, who's a rich businessman in Singapore, have invested in Salford City.
Yeah.
And they've moved all through the divisions, and they've got a capacity of about 5,000, and they're aiming to get to the Championship. And I think this is a really nice story. We both love lower league football, don't we? I mean, we're Bolton fans.
Exactly. We're going to have to get used to it.
So, you know, full marks to the class of 92.
Talking about Bolton, you just mentioned them. They're my 10th place. Now, a lot of you are thinking we're bottom of League One, 20 points from safety. What the hell are you going on about, Theo? Let me explain. I mean, we've got very good owners, stable, wealthy. We've recently said that we're going to adopt a Moneyball tactic, so we're going to be bringing in players like Brentford do. We're going to be in League Two. We've got a lot of good youth players like Dennis Politic, Harry Brockbank, Ronan Darcy, who've been looked at like Chelsea, Rangers, Wolves, Leicester. They've all had a little sniffle up. Good training grounds, money is in the club now. League Two without a points deduction. If we go straight back up, we might be good. I believe in the club.
We're Bolton Wanderers. We're on our way back. In 9th place, I've gone for a team that we should have been watching this week. Plymouth Argyle.
We had tickets to the derby.
They've got an American owner who's got a few quid and he's investing it in the club. They've got a good manager who's taken actually quite a few Bury players, I think. And Plymouth Argyle are the second most watched team in the second division after Bradford. So they've got really good fans, and those fans, they're passionate. They travel to games.
And do you want to hear something incredible, Dad?
I'd love to hear something incredible.
I've also picked Plymouth Argyle as my 9th club.
No, you haven't.
I have. We agree.
This is random.
We spoke of their manager, Ryan Lowe, Bury legend. He was the manager until they had all those financial problems, and you're right, they brought loads of players from that Bury team that was doing quite well in the league. Last few games, they've been getting 12,000, 13,000 attendances. On New Year, they got 15k against Swindon. This is a great fan base for League Two. Yeah. A lot of the clubs down south do not get enough respect, and this is one of them.
And a Thogdad fact about Plymouth Argyle. My great-granddad, Herbert Swan, used to play for Plymouth Argyle, and in one game he scored 5 goals.
Wow.
Moving on to 8th place, and I'm jumping up to the Championship and a team called Bristol City. Now, the owner of Bristol City, Stephen Lansdowne, is like minted. He's worth like $2.5 billion before this crisis. Yeah. And it's a really nice club. They've invested in the facilities. They've got a good young team.
And they recently did some work on their stadium. It's very modern. Yeah. They get good turnouts. They've got good fans.
And outside the ground, you get a great pint of cider.
I've gone with West Brom.
Oh, yeah.
Financially stable, great manager in Slaven Bilic, attacking style of football that runs through into the academy squads. Good training setup. I think West Brom will rise again. They're currently second in the Championship. They're destined for the Premier League, and I believe they'll go up. They're only going to rise. West Brom, I think you have a bright future. We'll see if it's true. Moving on to 7th place, and this picks itself. I've gone for Brentford. Now, Brentford in Matt Benn have got one of the best owners in the league. Yeah. He's a Brentford fan, you know. He's built a stadium, a 17,000 capacity stadium that they'll move into next year. He's invested in players, and he's running the club along Moneyball lines. He's running it very well. That's a cheeky one, Thogdad. For me, I've gone with Leeds. Leeds are destined for the Premier League. And if it doesn't come this season, it will come the next. And I don't think it even will be needed next season because they're top of the Championship. They've got a great manager in Bielsa. Great training facilities. Good youth setup with players like Jack Clark, who's now gone to Tottenham. Calvin Phillips, who's gone for their academy, been at the club since 14. And look at him now. He's also being linked with Tottenham and other big Premier League clubs. Really good style of football. They are ready for the Premier League with their team, with a few more big signings. You not got Brentford in your top 10th yet? Well, it's just not one of those ones for me. Ooh. In 6th place, I've gone for Brighton and Hove Albion. Ooh, okay. You know what? They've got a really good owner in Tony Bloom. He's worth a couple of billion. He's invested in a wonderful ground. Good young team, good academy, good youth setup. And you know what? It's one of those clubs, you go there and it's friendly. And again, there is a buzz about the club, and I like that. It's a well-run club, good for the community, so I agree with you. But for me, in my 6th place, I'm going to go for Celtic. They're top of the league, and they run their club at a financially stable rate. They don't break the bank. They also have a great youth setup. They've brought players through like Luca Connell from Bolton. I believe he will do quite well in the next few years. They've got Frimpong, who's playing at right back in their first team already, and Karamoko Dembele. We all know who he is. Very young, very skillful winger. Celtic are only destined for greater things.
Yes, very good points, Theo. Moving on to 5th place, and you know how I said I'd forgotten Leeds United?
Yeah.
I lied. Leeds United are in 5th place.
Right, of course.
Because almost everything's right here.
Yeah.
Because in Bielsa, you've got one of the best managers in the world.
Correct.
Calvin Phillips, Ben White, you've got some really great players. And Leeds, you've got an enormous fan base. A lot of them from the 1970s, and it's a global fan base. The thing about Leeds, I call them a sleeping giant. The one thing that's missing, I think, is a multi-billionaire owner.
Do you know who got that? And this brings me on to my 5th place, Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Ooh.
They got what Leeds needed.
Yes.
Big owner to come in with loads of money, and that's why Wolverhampton Wanderers are my 5th place.
Yes.
A club very well ran from the Championship. When Ruben Neves, who was linked with United at the time, signed for a Championship club, you knew something was going on at Wolves. They spanked us like 5-0 and 6-1 in a season. They've got a really stacked, mainly Portuguese team. Their man recruitment has been unbelievable. Most of their signings have been absolutely quality. They've got an incredible manager in Nuno. They're 6th in the Premier League and they're going on a very good Europa League run. They're not out yet, and who knows when the next games will be played in Europe, but big things to happen at Wolves. Well done.
Now in 4th place, I've put a team from Glasgow, and that team is Glasgow Celtic.
Ooh.
So I agree with you, Theo. And you know what the best thing about Glasgow Celtic is?
What?
Every single week, 59,000 people turn up to watch them. 59,000 passionate people will watch them play St Mirren. And that was a question, Mark, and you raised this earlier. What can Celtic achieve? Well, I'll tell you, the first thing they can achieve is 9 in a row and then 10 in a row, and that's historic. Players like Edouard, they have to be keeping them. They have to be turning down offers for 30 million. And they have to keep them, and they have to do better in Europe.
Celtic, we both put them in our top 10. Interesting.
Yeah, who's you got 4th here?
So for my 4th place, I have got Leicester City. It's quite obvious. Everything they've done over recent years has been really good. Ever since they came up from the Championship, they've kept their best players like Jamie Vardy, signed N'Golo Kante when he was no one. Now he's one of the best players in the world at Chelsea. And what they've done since that Premier League winning title, which is a great story, they've retained Premier League reputation, being 3rd in the Premier League. They've improved their academy and training setup. And you've got to look at some of the youngsters they've got in the team now. Madison doing really well. James Justin, someone you guys might not know about, but he's quality. Soyuncu, the list could go on. And they're only destined for bigger things.
Very wise words, and you'll hear more about Leicester later.
Ooh.
And in 3rd place, Wolverhampton Wanderers. Theo, you said some very pertinent things. All I can say about Wolves is what brilliant fan base they've got. I remember them being at Bolton, was it last season or the season before? They just bring along 5,000.
They do.
They sing throughout. They are a big club. Trip down Thogdad memory lane. I went to see Bolton Wanderers against Wolverhampton Wanderers in about 1976. And Wolves had won the 2nd division then, and we needed to beat them to have a chance of going up that season to the 1st division. And sadly we lost 1-0. It was a sellout crowd at Burnham Park. I'm talking 40-odd thousand. And at the end of the day, there was an enormous pitch invasion. Now, I was like 8 years old, and I got separated from my mum and dad.
Really?
And I was just with these randoms who were giving me crisps and coffee out of their flask.
That's crazy.
And I can still picture that pitch invasion as if it was yesterday.
That's mad. You were 8 years old.
8 years old.
That's crazy.
Who's your 3rd place?
My 3rd place is a club in Sheffield that go by the name of Sheffield United. And oh, what a story, man. From being in League One for 6 years to now being 7th in the Premier League, destined for European football next season. You get 11 players on that pitch that fight for the club, then they're going to give it their all each game, and that's part of the reason they're doing so well. If they can retain their manager, Chris Wilder, who's doing a great job, retain some of their best players like Dean Henderson for a few more years, John Fleck, don't sell him to Arsenal, then yes, I believe they're only going to go up and up and up. They've bought players like Sander Berge, which a little story about him. He turned them down the window before, but he signed for them in January, and that just shows how much bigger Sheffield United are becoming as a club, reputation in the Premier League.
Moving on to 2nd place, and Theo said it all. Great owners, great manager, great players, great future. Leicester City.
Decent.
I don't have to say anything more. It is a wonderfully run club, a friendly club, well supported from top to bottom. Leicester City.
My second place is Chelsea Football Club.
Sorry, there's something wrong with my ears. I thought you just said Chelsea Football Club.
I did, yeah.
Okay, Theo, let's try that again. Who's your second place?
Chelsea Football Club.
No, Theo, come on. We've had enough jokes in this video. Theo, who's your second place?
Chelsea, why do you not agree? Let me prove to you. They've got a legend as a coach,
yes.
Frank Lampard. Everyone loves him at Chelsea. Yeah. They've got 6 players who are regularly in their first team who are from their academy. So that just shows how good their academy. And let me list those players. Mason Mount, Tammy Abraham, Billy Gilmore, Tamori, Reece James and Callum Hudson-Odoi. All around the first team. And even with those youth in that squad, they spanked teams like Everton 4-0, and they're doing better than United in the league. Frank Lampard is doing a great job. Chelsea will only go up and up. European football next year for them.
There's some very good points there, but surely the ownership situation worries you. What if Roman Abramovich walks away?
If he walks away, they've still got 6 academy players who are ready to walk straight into that first team, Premier League ready, and then if you get some experience around that, I do not see Chelsea falling.
Very interesting, Theo. And shall we talk about our first places?
Let's do it. This is a big moment.
Yes. The club in Britain with the most promising future, I'm afraid, and this is really boring, we have to go up to the city of Liverpool.
Oh, you've gone for Liverpool?
I've gone for Everton.
What? You've gone for Everton?
Yes.
But we just made a depressing video, and they topped the list.
Now, first of all, I'll say I've not been drinking here.
Wow.
Right?
Thogdad.
I'm going to make a prediction.
Okay.
That in 10 years' time, Everton will be higher than Liverpool in the Premier League.
Wow, that's a massive statement from Thogdad.
Yeah. Now let's start off with a Thogdad fact. Now there's something called the Deloitte Football Money League.
Yep.
And every year it publishes who are the top 20 biggest football clubs in the world based upon revenues.
Yep.
Everton are 19. Now, Everton are a sleeping giant, and some of you youngsters might think, no, they're just a mid-table team. No, they are an enormous global team.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? Hopefully in 3 or 4 years, Everton are going to move to a brand new stadium.
Yep.
53,000 down by the docks. It's going to be absolutely amazing. What that brings with it is more money and more ability to invest in players and in wages. Now, they've got one of the best managers in the world.
They do.
In Carlo Ancelotti. Now, on the pitch, it's not been brilliant, but amongst that squad, you've got the Calvert-Lewins, the Diniers, the Richarlisons. You've got the beginnings of a good team.
That's a huge statement. I did not expect you to say that. It's going to be interesting looking back in this video in about 5-10 years' time and be like, was Thogdad right? Was Thogden right? Comparing our lists to see how they did in real life. But the first place I've gone for is Brentford Football Club.
Ooh.
That is my first place. They've got a really good owner. They're moving into a new ground next season. And their fan base, percentage-wise, I reckon is the highest growing out of any football team in the EFL. The thing is with Brentford, they're not a big football club. They're a small community team. They were dodging through League 1 and League 2 back in the day. They've never really been that big. But what the owners and the recent football has done, it's becoming a bigger club. Great recruitment system. They've got players that are being sniffed up by the likes of Chelsea and Aston Villa with Said Benrahma and their striker, Ollie Watkins. It's only going to go up from here for Brentford. So that is both our top 10s of the brightest futures, guys. Let us know in the comments section, who did we miss out? Which clubs do you think? And let us know in the comments, because we will be looking.
Yes.
Who do you think will honestly be the next big club to go through the leagues? Maybe someone in League 1 or League 2 that you just think are going to wipe the scene. Like Bournemouth back in the day. They went from like League 2 to Premier League. Who's going to be the next Bournemouth? Who's going to be the next Leicester City to go out of nowhere and win the league?
And that's the great thing about football. It is full of surprises.
But Thogdad, what is the like target? You've got to set a good cheeky amount for this one, eh?
Cheeky amount is 7,100.
Ooh, I reckon people in self-isolation, we're chucking out content for them. We can hit that.
Stay indoors, everyone.
Have a great Thursday evening. I hope you play some COD Warzone or some Fortnite or some FIFA or whatever you're doing. Going outside. Not going outside. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Or Boris will do this to you. We all know what he'll do. Thank you for watching. Have a great Thursday night from me and Thogdad. Stay safe, stay indoors, and see you later. Have a good one.